Hello and welcome to the Geneva Netball Centre for more action of the Netball New South Wales Premier League Round 7 action today. And first up, it's going to be the under-23's, the GWS Fury, the undefeated GWS Fury, 6-0 up against the Manly Sapphires from the North Shore. They are 5-1 and sitting in third, so we're expecting a really hotly contested clash between two sides that are desperate to pick up another 2 competition points and further move themselves up the competition ladder. The Sapphires have just had the 1 defeat so far this season, and already we're off and running. My name is Jack Clifton. It's a pleasure to bring you through all the netball action here this evening at the Geneva Netball Centre on the ShowCourt, and already the Sapphires off to a good start with a long looping pass as they open their account there through Stansford and lead by 1 goal to 0. So just be me in the commentary position here this evening, but 2 quality games. We've got the Opens game between both these 2 clubs as well, the GWS Fury and the Sapphires. They're both sitting at 3-3 in the Opens competition, as we see the Fury level things up at a goal apiece. And in this competition, it's been a really good start to the season by the GWS Fury. A 6-0 record is how they are standing. A big win against the UTS Sparks last week, winning by 61 goals to 41. And some good defence there by GWS, forces a turnover, and they get a chance to transition from defence into attack and move themselves up the court. A 20-goal win last week, but yeah, certainly going to be tested against a third-place Sapphire side, and already we're seeing a bit of tit-for-tat between both sides after committing a turnover. The Sapphires managed to force GWS into a bit of a mistake, and they moved the ball downfield to Broffrey. And they've been pretty good this year, the Sapphires. Just the 1 defeat, as I mentioned, and they had a really nice win last week against the Southern Stingrays by the tune of 60 goals to 38, and they take the lead back. We've only had the 90 seconds gone in this first quarter. And Stansfield gets her second goal of the evening to give the Sapphires a 2-1 lead. 2 sides that have been far and away the better sides in the competition, although the UTS Sparks are currently just above this Manly Sapphires side. As we see GWS tie things up. Nice piece of work there in attack by the undefeated number 1 ranked team in this under-23's competition. Broffrey goes downfield and finds support in Singleton, the centre, and the ball now just bouncing around in the circle. Stansfield, the goal shooter, looking for a 3rd goal, and that's exactly what she does. So she has her shooting boots on this evening. She's 3 from 3, and the Sapphires take the lead back by 3 goals to 2. Almost a turnover there by GWS. And defence has certainly been has had quite an impact in these opening exchanges of the games already. A few turnovers we've seen. There's a host of other under-23's fixtures going on at the moment. We have the Hawks up against North Shore United, the Panthers up against the Stingrays, and the Sparks are also in action on the far court. We'll try and update you with those scores at the quarter time aspect of this game. But it's tit for tat at the moment between these 2 clubs, 3 goals apiece. As we'll go back to the Sapphires here, and Stansfield again. Not the tallest shooter that we've ever seen in the New South Wales Netball Premier League, but is doing a very good job early on here with 4 goals and good defence tracking back there by the Sapphires. Playing across in wing defence there was Chelsea Mann that managed to come in and stop that one. Castle goes across to the goal shooter there for the GWS Fury. So 4 goals apiece, 11.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Round 7 of the Netball New South Wales Premier League, and good movement forward there by Castle and co. As they take the ball up to Lagaya, who's playing in that wing attack position and doing a good job of feeding the girls at the front to get an opportunity to score, and that's exactly what they do again. So the Fury sneak themselves back into the lead. They lead by 5 goals to 4. The Sapphires' defence has probably been, as we see, another wonderful turnover there by the Manly side, has probably been one of the best aspects of their play over these first 6 weeks of the season. They have conceded, on average, only 40 goals per game, so they actually haven't conceded any more than, haven't conceded 50 goals in a game this season at all. They even their defeat to the UTS Sparks in round 5 last week they only conceded 46 goals, so it's defence has been the name of the game for the Sapphires as they move the ball forward there. As it goes back now to Stansfield from some way out, just dribbles its way off the rim of the goalpost there, and it gives the Fury a chance to transition from defence into attack, and it was some pretty impressive counter-attacking play there by Castle. Man, though, is caught in possession after giving that pass alongside to Taylor Flood, the captain. And the Sapphires will get an opportunity to try and tie things up here inside the final 10 minutes of this first quarter. And it's a really nice finish by the goal attack is Hayley Biddulph. So she gets her first goal of the game. 5 goals apiece between these two sides. Nice little crowd that's made its way through into the Geneva Netball Centre here on the ShowCourt. I've seen the Panthers play in the previous 2 weeks here on the ShowCourt, but they don't make it 3 times lucky. It's GWS and Manly getting their opportunities to prove their wares in the main court position, and a bit of a wayward pass there and a costly turnover as the Sapphires move their way down the court. Mann gets the ball back once more. This is a really good quick ball movement by the Sapphires. Just trying to drag that GWS defence just out of line a little bit and try and create a little bit of room and a few holes. There's Stansfield. Goes the short pass upfield and finds Amber Ruffy. And the ball does just bounce away from the rim there, and the GWS Fury can just try and reset here. They've had a couple of opportunities down that end of the court, have the Sapphires, and have just been a little bit lax with their shooting lately, but then a big ball looking over the top there for the Fury doesn't quite come off. And some explosive passes early on. It's very impressive to see a deflection there by the Fury, and they create, well, by my watch, I think that's their 4th or 5th turnover in this quarter, which has been very, very good, really impressive play. And Broffy probably just a little bit too over-exuberant there with the shoulder to her GWS counterpart. And the Sapphires will get the ball back. 5-5 goals apiece, and right after getting the ball back, Broffy has to give the ball back to the orange and white. Here is Castle. It's a bullet-like pass there, and she found Langaya. And it's finished off nicely again by the Fury. 6-5 it reads at the moment. It's a frantic pace, although we haven't had as many goals as perhaps what we saw in the under-23's game last week between the Panthers and North Shore United. This has been probably just exciting as the Fury extend their lead. Some really good defensive play by both sides. And now another mistake by the Sapphires, and the wheels are just starting to fall off a little bit now. A couple of crucial errors in these last 2 or 3 minutes, a couple of missed attacking opportunities. Flood doing a good job in wing defence as well. And once more finished off by this talented Fury front third that has opened up a 3-goal advantage now. They go down there to Castle. Just bounces away from the rim. Should probably like to have that one back. A goal shooter for this GWS Fury outfit. Another opportunity here, and then they make no mistake, the Fury. So we're down by 1 goal at one stage earlier in this quarter, but have proved their worth by creating a few pivotal defensive turnovers, and another one here. So they just try and slow the play down. Lagaya trying to feed support there to Castle. Castle goes further forward, and a chance for double figures, and it's a beautiful shot as well. Looping shot which balloons into the net and gets the Fury to double figures, and already we're starting to see the golfing class as Lagaya has come off the court for some reason down on that far side, and maybe just a bit of a niggle has been felt there, and Ockenball will come on to replace her, which means a little bit of a reshuffle now. So it looks like Castle's going to go from centre to wing attack. And Flood's going to go from wing defence, I think, into centre for the GWS side. And play has a chance to restart. So some positional changes that are enforced on by injury. Doesn't seem to affect the GWS Fury at the moment, though, and another fantastic goal coming forward there in attack by the GWS side, and an 11-5 advantage. Well, they must be wondering what's hit them, this Manly Sapphires side. They did at one stage only trail 5-4. Since then, they've been outscored 5-1 and look a little bit shell-shocked. Important for them to just stay true to the course and stick to their processes here as they move the ball through there. Rudolph, an opportunity, but again bounced away, and they, in basketball terms, they get themselves another rebound to this GWS side and have controlled the ball really, really well. A bit of deflection up forward there to Castle. Back to Flood, back to Castle. And does a little bit of a 360 around the rim, but still goes in and adds to another goal to the Furies, who lead by 7 now. So this is getting a little bit worrying, and that is a beautiful passage of attacking netball there by the Fury, and they are running riot at the moment. 13-5 they lead. Still 4 minutes left in this quarter as well. As Bidoff's pass is misdirected, they go forward now to Castle. Castle showing some good ball skills there. Another perfect goal. He's got those loopy shots down pat there. And it's another goal to the Fury. 14 plays 5. And they have just come on with a flurry here, and you can see why they are 6-0. They are by far and away wiping the floor with this Manly Sapphire side at the moment with some really good netball. Not too much better you're going to see anywhere in New South Wales, and you can just tell the pressure just getting to the Manly Sapphires now. Bidoff unable to hold on to that ball, and spills the lollies all over the shop floor and hands possession back to this GWS side. And finally we see a bit of a loss of concentration by the Fury, and the Sapphires get a bit of a reprieve for once. They're down by 10 goals. They need a goal just for their confidence, I think. Stansfield, and there's a bit of a calamity in the semicircle there, and Stansfield just stems the bleeding a little bit for the Manly side. They get their 6th goal of the evening. This GWS side, very young side as well. There's no less than 6 players in their squad that are involved with the HSE this year, which is very, very impressive when you think the fact they're juggling training part-time with this side, playing obviously on Wednesday nights, and also doing the HSE and everything else that comes along with that, the stresses and strains of Year 12. Certainly isn't affecting their play on the court, and good passage of passing there by Stansfield, who will get an opportunity to pull another one back, and she does just that. So a couple of goals in succession here for the Sapphires. They'll be keen to get to quarter time, but they'll also know that they want to try and get a few more goals and try and eat away at this lead before the quarter time whistle does go. Bidoff gives the ball forward there to Stansfield. And another goal there for Caitlin Stansfield, the goal shooter. She's been pretty good. Only had a few wayward shots, and she's been able to convert with the last 3. And the Sapphires all of a sudden get it back within 7. There is Flood. Throws it back into the centre there. Finds a runner. And another fantastic goal by the Fury. It's been something they've done very, very well in these first 15 minutes. Bidoff, despite missing that first shot, she gets a reprieve and scores again. So we've gone back to what we saw probably in the first 5 minutes of the quarter, where it was tit for tat and kind of goal for goal, apart from the occasional turnover. But unfortunately, the Sapphires just not able to defensively be able to stop the Fury going forward. certainly throwing their bodies in there, the Sapphires, but the quick, brisk ball movement of GWS has been good, and we finally see a wayward pass from them going forward. Inside the final 30 seconds of the quarter. Running down the final 5 seconds, can Sapphires pull one back before quarter time? They do just that. That's what they wanted, so they get to double figures, but it certainly has been a quarter dominated by the GWS Fury. 6-0 to start this season, and they're looking on track to be 7-0 even at this early stage. They lead by 17 goals to 10, some really good passages of ball movement, and their finishing has been next to brilliant at the right end of the court. So 17 goals plays 10 in the two other games that I'm able to see from my broadcast position. The Hawks lead North Shore United 12 goals to 11, and the Panthers up against the Stingrays by 11 goals to 8. We'll take a short break. We're back in a couple of minutes to bring you all the action of the second quarter. It's the GWS Fury 17 goals to 10 over the Manly Sapphires in under 23s. Welcome back to the Junior Netball Centre. Almost the start of the second quarter here in this under-23s round 7 game between the GWS Fury and the Manly Sapphires. It was all the Fury in that opening quarter. 17 goals to 10 as they ran riot. Sapphires did stem the bleeding a little bit in the back end of that quarter. They added 4 goals to the Fury's 2. So did pull it back a little bit, but they'll need to start really positively here, and particularly defensively as well, because they're a noted strong defensive outfit, but haven't really been able to show that against the table-topping Fury. Some better play here defensively by the Sapphires, at least putting them under a bit of pressure. And here's Lauren Woods, who was pinpoint accurate in the first quarter, and nothing changes despite the break. Another goal for her, Fury out to 18 goals to 10. Don't forget, we also have the round 7 of the Opens competition later tonight. 8:40 p.m. is the start of that one between both these sides, the GWS Fury and the Manly Sapphires. 5th against 6th in the league there. Both sides are 3-3. Manly, having dropped their first 2 games of the season, have won 3 in a row, but then did lose last week, while it's been win-loss, win-loss, win-loss for the GWS side as Stansfield pulls one back for the Sapphires. And hopefully a big crowd has the Geneva Netball Centre rocking here this evening. There's already a nice little crowd, as I mentioned, at the top of the program that have come in. Lots of supportive mothers and fathers and brothers, sisters, boyfriends, husbands, all of that kind of stuff. It's great to see them supporting local netball here, and Woods finds the net once more here for this GWS side. They are 6-0, so doesn't come as a huge surprise to see them playing such good netball. But the Sapphires are starting to make things a little more difficult for them, just trying to stretch that those defensive positions. And the Sapphires get their second goal of the quarter. Haley Bidoff playing in that goal attack position, able to sink one through the net. They are just 7 goals behind now. As those big fans of netball would know, or even the people that have watched the coverage over the last couple of weeks, it really is, much like any sport, a huge momentum sport, netball. And if you can get momentum, it's easy to get 3, 4, 5 goals on the bounce. And that's probably what the Sapphires need. Maybe not necessarily this quarter, but they probably can't afford to get down by any more than this margin at the moment, which is 8 goals. Stansfield. Nice finish there. Under a fair bit of pressure defensively there from Ockenbaugh. And also Violet Wetstein. But she was able to withhold that pressure and get an important goal for her side. Perkins goes forward to Woods, and Woods finishes comfortably once more. So they're looking in an ominous mood, this Fury side. 21 goals to 13. They played last week against the UTS Sparks and made lunch meat of them, 61 goals to 41. So it was a comfortable win in the end. They've had some pretty impressive wins so far this season. They won the first game of the season, 54 goals to 26 against Sutherland. And backed it up with wins against the Central Coast, 53 to 40, and North Shore United, 53 to 45. And now we see back-to-back goals for the Sapphires, who get within 6 after a defensive turnover and now have possession again. Brophy. Good interlinking of passes there by the Sapphire side, and even when the ball was given away, it was given back to them. Stansfield. Oh, really nice goal, that one. And so the Sapphires are now within 5. They trailed by as much as 10 in that first quarter, so been able to wrestle the ascendancy back somewhat. And in the last 2 weeks for the last 3 weeks, sorry, I should say, for this GWS side. 52-49 against the Panthers in a very, very close game. And then comfortable wins against the EO8 Eastwood Ride side, 53 to 42, and then 61-41 against the UTS Sparks. So they have had it pretty comfortable throughout the season, winning by 28, 13, 8, 3, 11 and 20. So the closest game they've had was against that Panthers side, which is funny because we've seen the Panthers the last 2 weeks on this ShowCourt arena. And their first win in the under-23s was last week. So for them to get so close to the top side, they certainly had a good day at it, the races there. Nice turnover here by GWS, and they fire the ball forward to Woods, and she's not going to miss from there. Costly turnover by the Sapphires. Can't afford to be doing that too many times in this quarter. I've almost had 5 minutes gone. And it is the Fury 23 goals to 16 over the Sapphires. Castle does well to get that ball back. She was starting at centre, is now at wing attack. Fires the ball forward there to Perkins. But now Manly are able defensively to switch themselves on. They're going to say that ball is going the direction of the GWS Fury. That's not what Sapphires wanted if they just got possession back. Perkins, some way out. And that one just didn't have enough distance on it. And the Sapphires breathe a sigh of relief and they get their out of jail free card. Brophy. Oh, just couldn't quite get it in. Just rolled around the ring there. Probably a little bit too much pace on it, but it was really a goal. She probably should have finished there. And that's the kind of stuff they can't afford to do. And then Perkins with a leaping take finishes brilliantly up the other end. And that may just knock the stuffing out of the Sapphires a little bit there. Those couple of passages of plays where the defence had been able to turn the ball over, but then hadn't been able to do anything with it. Stansfield looking for the ball. She can't get it at the moment as Brophy at goal attack is getting her hands on the ball a fair bit. As the ball bobbles around as the Fury try and get a turnover. As for the Sapphires, 5-1 coming into this game. And Brophy again not able to get the goal that they so desire. So the ball bounces away from the rim for the second consecutive time. They started the season with a win against the Central Coast. They beat them 60-35. They beat North Shore United 56-41, 53-41 over the Panthers, 58-44 against Erna, and 60-38 against Sutherland. So all of their wins have been pretty comfortable, and their one defeat was last week against the UTS Sparks, 46-44, and UTS pushed themselves into second position with that win and Manly slipped to third. It's not looking good for the Sapphires at the moment. Great finish there by Eliza Perkins. And after dwindling that lead down to 5 goals, it's all of a sudden crept back up to 9 goals and an opportunity that could get as big as 10 here as the Fury launch themselves down court. Woods goes across the court looking there for Perkins. It was deflected off a Sapphire hand though. Goes back to Perkins. Some way out. Oh, that's a fantastic goal. She's made a habit of doing that in this game. And we talk about goal shooters and goal attack not smiling too much, but we got a little bit of a wry smile ahead of her there after she finished nicely from some way out. The Fury leading by 26 goals to 16. 6.5 minutes left in this second quarter, and this game is racing by. And the Sapphires, well, they just can't seem to put the ball in the net. They eventually do here through their goal shooter, Caitlin Stansfield. And some of the other games that are going on, we've got the Panthers up against the Stingrays on court 2. They are 16 goals apiece with 6 minutes left in the second quarter there. Another close game, North Shore United 18 goals to 17 over the Hawks with 6 minutes also left in that game. Stansfield, and she scores again. So Sapphires, they just seem to go through periods where they can probably not switch off probably isn't the right term to use, but just things don't really go their way. They cough the ball up and their shooting can be a little bit wayward, and then they go through periods like they've done now that they have just given possession away where they get 2 or 3 goals in succession and they get some turnovers. Castle goes forward looking for Woods, batted back, and now the Sapphires have it as they attempt to move down court. There's Brady. She fires the ball forward there to Mann. Stansfield goes to Brophy, still some way out, and it's a really nice goal there to Brophy. Good passage of play between her and Stansfield. Stansfield being able to just attract a couple of defenders away from her on that occasion, which opened up the opportunity. Ockenbaugh. So try and move the ball forward, but the Sapphires defensively positioned really well at the moment. Woods' ambitious move down court just didn't quite come off there for the ladder leaders in the under-23s competition. Mann. Get back to Mann on the edge of the circle. Goes in there to Brophy. Oh, and that is a fantastic goal. And gets the applause she deserves as well from the Sapphires bench. And just took a little bit too long there, the Sapphires trying to set up what they wanted. And again, those kinds of things they can't afford to do, although they're saved at the back there by their goalkeeper, Charlie Fiddler. Mann. Goes a long ball downfield, down court I should say. And it's eventually maybe fortuitously picked up there by Caitlin Stansfield, and she pegs another one back. So it's now 26 goals to 21, and 4 of the last 5 goals have gone the way of this Manly Sapphires side. So we speak about momentum and the necessity it is to have hold of it. And when you don't have hold of it, it can be a very lonely game out there. But they're doing a good job, the Sapphires, at the moment. Wood should have a fairly easy opportunity here, and she does. But they've made things a little bit more difficult there for Lauren Woods, who, without being disrespectful to the Sapphires, pretty much had things all their own way in that opening quarter. Scored a lot of goals. It was 17-10 in that at the end of that first quarter. So since then, it has been 10 goals to the Fury in this quarter and 11 to the Sapphires. So the Sapphires just inching in front in terms of points per quarter. Brophy. Ball bounces away off the rim. Stansfield does well. Good positional awareness there as it takes a deflection off the face of Ockenbaugh. You wouldn't quite call that a falcon, but certainly tasted the leather of the netball on that occasion. Stansfield, can she get the goal the Sapphires need? She can. 27 goals to 22. 2.5 left in this second quarter. Round 7 of the Netball New South Wales Premier League. The first place Fury up against the third place Sapphires. Fury, they're happy with the two sides, but the Sapphires have certainly getting their noses back in the game and have played a pretty good second quarter, it must be said. Great work in the goalkeeper position there by Charlie Fiddler. They get to march themselves up court. Mann. Back to Mann once more. Goes to Stansfield. Fair bit of contact in that circle, and it will go the way of Stansfield, who could have an opportunity to pull another one back, and she does. So, well, the Sapphires, they are firing now inside the final 100 seconds of the half. And they're only down by 27 goals to 23, and they have the ball back. Stansfield goes short. Goes across there to Stansfield, and she scores another goal. Well, they are running right at the moment, the Sapphires. They were down by 10 goals at one stage in this quarter. They've got it back to 3. Phenomenal run. It's the Fury leading by 27 goals to 24. And the ball batted away over the line. And it will go the way of the Sapphires, who would fancy themselves to get at least 1, maybe 2 more goals in this this quarter. Bit of a dangerous pass down court. And Brophy managed to pick it up and then interchange passes. Brophy gets it back. We now have a chance to reduce it to 2, and she does that. She creeps it home as it just got enough to get over the lip of the rim there. And well, they've got 1 goal, and now they want another one. Possession has certainly been heavily in favour of this Manly side. Singleton doing a lot of work in that wing attack position as well. Stansfield. Fair bit of contact there by GWS, and the ball will go back to the Sapphires. Back to Stansfield, 20 seconds left in the half, and Stansfield scores again, so 27 goals to 26, and the Sapphires have come back with a roar. Well, down by 7 at the end of the first quarter. Can they hold on at the end of this quarter, end of this half, to maintain that it is just a 1-goal deficit they go into the break with? Desperately defending, trying to stop Woods here with 1 last shot, and she does finish with just 1 second on the clock, and that is the end of not only a pulsating quarter, but a pulsating half here in round 7 of the Netball New South Wales Premier League Under-23's game and it is the Fury who grimly hold on to their lead. They lead by 28 goals to 26. They led 17 goals to 10 at quarter time, but were certainly just outmanned and outgunned in that second quarter, with the Sapphires scoring no less than 16 goals to the Fury's 11 to drag themselves back in the game, where at times in the first and second quarter where they were down by as many as 10 goals. It looked a grim outlook for this Sapphires side. So half time here, and it is the GWS Fury 28 goals leading the Sapphires 26. He's to join us in about 5 or 6 minutes time for all the action for the third quarter here on Bar TV. Welcome back to the Genea Netball Centre. Jack Clifton in commentary for you. It's about to start time for the third quarter of this under-23s round 7 fixture between the GWS Fury and also the Manly Sapphires. First up against third, the Sapphires have got back within 2, although a costly turnover here as GWS obviously getting some much-needed instructions. Almost took out our commentary equipment right next to. Luckily, producer Travellers on the ball there, quite literally to make sure that no equipment was damaged. Wayward pass, and here are the Sapphires. They score a goal to start proceedings. Nice work there by Caitlin Stansfield. 28 goals to 27 now, so they're back to that 1-goal deficit. Remarkable to think that at one stage the Sapphires were down by 10 goals, and I'm sure there were some people writing their obituary a little bit. They've fought back marvellously with some good possession, good defensive play in those other games that are going on. Low-scoring fixture between the Panthers and the Stingrays. We've had just over a minute over there on court 3, and it is the Panthers 20 goals over the Stingrays 18. The Hawks lead North Shore United with 13 minutes left in the third quarter, 26 goals to 22 and 29 goals to 27 here. The UTS Sparks are playing. We'll just try and find out who they are up against. It's a bit hard to see the scoreboard on that far side. They're playing on court number 2 and playing the Central Coast Heart, and they're down by 22 goals to 20 in that game. But back here, it's 30 goals to 27 to the Fury, who are looking like they're just getting that momentum back a little bit here on the edge of the circle through Castle across the top there to Lauren Woods. And Woods doesn't need any second invitations there. It's her bread and butter. She converts, and the Fury, who had their lead trimmed to 1, are back out by 4 now. Big pass down the court, but it's going to be pulled back, this one. So Fury ball, Ockham ball. Let's see the GWS coaching staff and their open side that have trundled their way into the ShowCourt just to see how their, you wouldn't say their junior side, but their under-23 side is going, and they would be pretty pleased that they've opened up a 5-goal advantage here in the early stages of this third quarter. Nice ball movement down the court. Wood still some way out. And the ball bounces awkwardly off the goal rim there. Here's Chelsea Mann. Lucky not to have been pinned for holding the ball longer than 3 seconds. Did well to release it. Stansfield. She had some distance on that shot from Stansfield, and was fortunate that she was able to take a couple of steps in there, and it's a much easier shot for her, which she was able to convert. 32 goals to 28, they trail the Sapphires. Feeling this could be one of those games that goes down to the wire. And then we see Brophy with a nice finish, the goal attack. So back-to-back goals for the Sapphires. Lead trimmed to 3. Woods, though, just able to consolidate the standing for this GWS side. She gets another goal. 4 minutes already gone in this third quarter. The Fury leading by 33 goals to 29 over this Sapphires outfit. Sapphires do have one of the best defensive records in the competition. They've coming into this game and only conceded 245 goals. At an average of 40 goals per game. The only side that had a better defensive record by them was the side they're playing tonight, the Greater Western Sydney side, who've only conceded 243, but then when you looked at the attack coming into this game, 326 goals for the GWS Fury, while 331 goals for Manly. So very, very similar statistics there for in both defence and attack for these two sides, so not surprised to see almost getting into the second half of this third quarter that these sides are only separated by by 4 goals. Stansfield. Ball deflected away. It's going to come back to the edge of the circle though, and another attacking opportunity here for the Sapphires as we see Brophy trying to work her way into a position as well as Stansfield, but ball deflected away. Good work at the back there for the Fury goalkeeper in Wetstain. Nickel. Forward there to Castle. So contact made to the arm there of Castle for the Fury. She goes forward and finds a nice little run there of Perkins, who's been a little bit quiet to start this third quarter, but she does get the ball here, and looks like she's balancing a pizza on her hand. It was a bit of a wayward shot. Didn't get good delivery there, and it bounces out of play. So these are the kind of opportunities that the Sapphires really need to make sure they see count, because this Fury side is not known for making that many turnovers or not keeping control of the ball. So an opportunity here, and you can already see the pass is quite wayward and couldn't keep it in, so just a bit of a panicked attacking formation and play there by Manly. That's the kind of play they need to try and just tidy up a little bit. Although defensively they've been able to create a few little opportunities for their attack. Here they go once more. Down the court it goes to Singleton. Fires a pass there to Stansfield. Back to Stansfield here. This is an opportunity for another goal, and she obliges. 8 minutes left in the quarter. Fury 34 goals to 31 over the Sapphires. He goes Perkins, and she is able to convert. So end-to-end stuff between both these two sides. The Fury looking for their 7th win of the season, an opportunity to go 7-0 to start the 2019 New South Wales Premier League Under-23's competition. And the Sapphires looking to snap what happened last week with a disappointing loss to the UTS Sparks, and obviously don't want to be dropping back-to-back games in this competition. Still well and truly in this ball game, only down by 3 goals, soon to be 4 as Woods sends a nice shot through the net. Sapphire's doing a good job of moving the ball down the court though, and just pass a little bit too hard to Brophy. She wasn't able to keep control of it, and it went out of play, and the Fury's defence. Love to see a stat on how many turnovers they've created. I think both the defensive work of the Sapphires and the Fury have been excellent today. But particularly Fury side that have been able to create a lot of turnovers for their attacking side of the team, and Woods converts. 37 goals to 32 now, so that lead was down to 1 goal at one stage, and now it's creeped back up to 5. So important for the Sapphires to not let this game get away from them, because really good interception there. That's really good play. But again, the ball's turned back over to the Fury. What I was going to say was you probably don't want to be going into that final quarter with a deficit of 6 or more goals. Gets out to 7 or 8 goals. That's when he's going to be a pretty steep mountain to climb. (38 to 33). 5.5 minutes in this third quarter. A few more faces wandering through the Geneva Netball Centre, preparing for the Opens game, which is set to start in around about 45 minutes. The 5th place Manly Sapphires against the 6th place GWS Fury. Both sides desperate in the Opens competition to get 2 points. With Sapphires, obviously, after starting the season 0-2, have been able to win 3 of their past 4. They did lose last week, so they'll know that a win here could really consolidate their standings. And with such a logjam at the top of the ladder in the Opens competition, there is only 2 points separating 2nd from 6th. So that becomes a very important game in the scheme of the season. Sapphires trying to get themselves back in this game. Brophy goes across there to Mann and looking for the run of Stansfield. She's still some way out. It's going to be a tough shot, and it was always going to be a little bit difficult for her to get in from that angle. Just the height advantage of Violet Wetstain of the Fury. But they do still have the ball in hand. Stansfield everywhere, coming out of her circle, trying to help in that final third of attacking, and almost gets a hand on the ball there as it eventually dribbles out of play. So, goal to the Sapphires, but still down by 7 inside the final 3 minutes of this quarter. And starting to become desperate times for this Sapphires side that had seemed like they used so much energy and enthusiasm to get within a goal, and now they find themselves down by 8. They need to try and score a flurry of goals in these final 2.5 minutes if they really want to have a chance. You wouldn't think this Fury side would be willing to give up an 8-goal advantage, inside the final 15 minutes of the game. Stansfield pulls one back, so just stems the bleeding a little bit. 34th goal of the evening for the Sapphires. And spoken at length about the defence of the Sapphires, how they haven't conceded 50 goals in this season at all. It's looking more and more likely that that could be the case in this game. Still 2 minutes left in this quarter. And the Fury have already lodged 41 goals in this evening's game. Mann back to the Sapphires goalkeeper. They move the ball forward back to Chelsea Mann once more. Singleton, Brophy needs support, but they're all marked up. Really good zonal marking by this Fury outfit. Goes forward to Brophy once more, looping pass across there to Stansfield. Stansfield gets a couple of feet in there and is able to finish off nicely. So the Sapphires get to a 6-goal margin, and they'll retain possession as well. And no, well, they won't. That's the 2nd or 3rd time that's happened today, holding onto the ball far too long for the centre circle. And fundamental errors just killing the Sapphires at times against this very disciplined Greater Western Sydney side. And Woods tries to control things and then almost takes out the goalpost as she's sent hurtling towards the goal. Chelsea Mann can't hold on to it, but thankfully it's picked up by a Sapphires teammate. Hancock's getting involved, the wing defence as well. She's been doing her fair bit of defensive duties. Brophy. Oh, fantastic goal. Just when it looks like the Sapphires are just getting put to bed, they manage to come back and sneak another couple of goals. They get within 5 with 30 seconds left in the quarter. There'll be 15 minutes left in this one. Woods hesitates and eventually finishes. Not a greatest shot, but did enough to get the ball in the net. With only 21 seconds remaining, this may be the final play, or the final plays of this quarter. Sapphires really need to score to try and get that deficit down as low as they can heading into the final 15 minutes. Going forward, knocked away by the Fury, and they get one last attacking opportunity. 5 seconds to go. Probably not enough time for them to create something. Woods goes up, deflects off the fingers and over the baseline. But another tantalising and entertaining quarter here at the GWS Netball Centre. And it is the Fury who have 1 foot in the door of making it 7 wins on the trot. They lead by 42 goals to 36 at three-quarter time. They did lead by just a goal heading into this quarter. 28 goals to 27, and it was a more of a low-scoring quarter, but they still managed to outscore the Sapphires by 14 goals to 9. So have turned a 1-goal advantage into a 6-goal advantage. Still anyone's ball game, certainly, but you would certainly want to be backing in the Fury considering how well they performed not only tonight but all season, and a 6-goal lead is a pretty handsome advantage heading into the final 15 minutes of the game. We'll take a short break, and you can join us on the other side of that for all the action in the final quarter. And when we come back, we'll also give you a roundup of all the latest scores that are happening in the other under-23s games around. Welcome back. Jack Clifton in the commentary booth and commentary position for this final quarter. 15 minutes left. Is it going to be the Fury or the Sapphires that take out the 2 competition points? Been a very high-quality game between these two sides. The Fury leading by 42 goals to 36. They have first use of the ball in this final quarter, this 4th and final quarter. As I mentioned at the top of the program, the Fury 6-0 coming into this game. And they open up the scoring pretty comfortably there through Eliza Perkins to go out by 7 goals. So they are 6-0. They beat the UTS Sparks last week by 61 to 41. And in the process of this game, have gone past 350 goals for the season. So a nice achievement for them. Sapphires trying, and it's going to take something pretty special from them, you'd think, in this final quarter. Defensively, I think they've been pretty switched on after a bit of a slow and sluggish start in that first quarter where they found themselves down by 10 goals at one stage. think in any sport, whether it's soccer or rugby league or cricket or netball, you can't afford to be giving good quality sides like this Fury side a big advantage. They've done well to try and wrestle things back from 10 goals, but it's an opportunity. If Perkins hits here, it could be 8 goals, and it is. She's got her shooting boots on tonight, and the Fury go out by 44 goals to 36. You just kind of feel this game is slipping away from the Sapphires at the moment. Woods with easy pickings for her, the goal shooter. She's been in fine form tonight, and the Fury not only opening up a 9-goal lead, looking like they'll be the first team to put 50 goals past this Sapphire side in 2019 in this under-23s competition. Quick ball movement down the court by GWS. It's been a real feature of their play. We saw it a lot in the first quarter. Probably not as much in the second quarter, where they got pegged back quite a fair bit. And Woods notches another one. So you never want to get the fat lady to want the vocals before a game's over. But with a 10-goal advantage and with possession in their hands, it's looking more and more likely that the Fury are going to run away with this one. And this quarter is very reminiscent of what we saw in the middle part of that first quarter, where the Fury just were playing some really good netball and moving the ball briskly and being able to find gaps and plenty of space down the court. And the Sapphires have been unable to even get their noses in this game. 42 to 36 it was at three-quarter time, and since then it's been the Fury who have scored 4 goals unanswered, soon to be 5. And an 11-goal buffer now, as the Sapphires are wilting against a very professional, organised and well-drilled GWS side. Ball looped over the top, taken there by Mann, and goes back to Brophy. And Brophy has done to convert, bounces off the rim, but she will get a second bite of the cherry, so to speak. But again, does pretty much the exact same thing as it bounces off the rim of the goal. And the Fury almost prance their way downfield with some really lovely play. Perkins. And that ball will be going back in the direction of the Sapphires. Leaping forward there was Hancock's. Ball bounces back and goes into the possession there of Perkins. Probably a little bit lucky to get that ball back as it rebounded off a Sapphires player. Fury leading by 48 goals to 36. And running away with this one. It's been a convincing performance by them. And obviously a big win like this, if they could keep it around the ballpark of between 10 to 15 goals, that's going to improve their percentage as well. And Perkins nails another beautiful shot. Lead is out to 13 goals. Percentage obviously a big thing towards the end of the season, and especially if teams are tied on points. Good to see they don't do what the cricket do and just let teams get in on who scored the most goals. So the Fury, now they've been really pumped up in this final quarter, haven't they? It's the instructions from the coaching staff have certainly paid dividends. Perkins looking for the half century for the Fury, and what a way to bring it up. Wonderful one-handed looping shot into the net. And the Sapphires are still yet to score a point. They've been outscored 8-0 in this final quarter. And confidence probably a big issue at the moment for this Manly side. There are a couple of players on the Sapphires bench warming up and obviously getting ready to perhaps be thrown into the action. Make that 9-0 in this quarter. It's been disappointing by the Sapphires, at least in this quarter. It's not through a lack of trying or a lack of effort. They've just really been beaten by well, obviously not beaten yet, but been outplayed by a better side. No shame in going down to the ladder leaders. So they finally get their first goal for the quarter. It's taken 6.5 minutes for them to get on the board. The Fury leading by 51-37. And the Fury, it hasn't just been one player that has been good today. You've obviously got up front the goal shooter in Lauren Woods that's been very good. Eliza Perkins at goal attack has been fantastic. Biddulph and Donahue come on as Broffrey and Mann make their way off the field for a bit of an early breather as they bring some fresh legs into the game, hoping to just re-energise themselves and be able to maybe perhaps find a few goals and add a bit of respect to the scoreline. As I was mentioning before, as good as the Fury have been, the scoreline probably doesn't accurately reflect how good the Sapphires have been during large periods of this game. You think they got back to a goal in early stages of that third quarter. But unfortunately, much like you see in any sport, often it can be close for large periods of a game, and it's almost like when a team, to use a metaphor, gets their back broken by a couple of goals or a 5 or 6 minute period where they're outplayed and they kind of know the game is going away from them, that they just kind of lose the plot a little bit. Both sides probably struggling with a little bit of fatigue and a little bit of tiredness at the moment. Melville also out there at goal defence for the Sapphires. Castle goes forward there for Perkins. That's knocked away by a Sapphires defender. That was the goalkeeper on that occasion, Charlie Fiddler, who's done some good things this evening, but has had a tough evening at the office against a GWS side that can obviously score a lot of points, and with Lauren Woods probably one of the best goal shooters in the under-23s competition, as we see her score another goal. So just to see whether GWS can break their record for this year in terms of goals scored in a match. The record was created last week when they beat the UTS Sparks 61-41, and as it stands, pretty handy record to have when you can put not only 61 goals past the team that's coming second, but beat them by 20 goals and then be playing the team that's coming third, and with around about 5 minutes remaining, be leading them by 16 goals. So they're certainly creating quite a little divide at the top of the New South Wales Premier League under-23s competition. Woods with another opportunity to score, and she's not going to say no to that. So a good finish by the charismatic goal shooter for the Fury. Some of those other scores going on as the Sapphires pull a goal back. It's the Hawks 42 goals leading North Shore United 36. The Panthers and the Stingrays in a real battle up there on court number 2. They are 35 apiece. And the Sparks are currently taking on the Heart. The Sparks on 50 goals, but just unable to see that scoreline. But we'll get that for you at full time of this game, which is only 5 minutes away. The Sapphires cheaply give possession away once more. Fires it through to their Perkins. Perkins gets the ball back and interchanging a passes, 1-2, 1-2, and then an ambitious pass in the final third can't find its target. Long pass across the court there to Fiddler, who did well to pull the ball in. Opens, he's set to start at 8:40 tonight, so you don't have long to wait. So after this game, maybe grab a cuppa, and please do join us for what should be a cracking contest between two sides desperate for wins, both sitting at 3 wins and 3 defeats after 6 rounds. And with only 2 points separating second from 6th, it becomes a very important game in terms of the season and table positions. Stansfield scores again. Fury leading by 55 goals to 39. You can just see that shot there of the Sapphires. A pretty forlorn bench. Not surprising to see quite a fair few glum faces there. As Woods adds another goal to her tally, another goal to the tally of the GWS side. Forward to Biddle. And nice finish there by Stansfield, who's worked hard in that goal shooter position. Hasn't always been easy. There's been some good defensive play by the Fury for large periods of today's game. And Woods converts again. So even though the Sapphires are being able to convert and score a few more goals here and there, they're still able to stop the flow of goals that are coming at the southern end of the ground, or the southern end of the court, to use a geographical term. 57 goals to 41, 2.5 remaining. Good work there by Donahue, who managed to get her hands on the ball, but possession does go back to the Fury. From some way out, Perkins from downtown, fantastic shot. And the Fury go out to a 17-goal lead. The Brains Trust down on the side of the court for the GWS side would be very, very pleased with this performance. Not only a good attacking performance, defensively been really, really good. In this final quarter, have only conceded 6 goals. So have had it all their own way pretty much, GWS. 16 goals to 6 is what the scorecard reads in this final quarter. Perkins with the bounce pass inside the circle. Woods will get the ball back though. Can't think of too many times today where either Perkins or Woods haven't been able to convert when they've been inside the circle. Might have been 1 or 2 occasions, and that would be an estimated guess, and don't think it'll be much more than that. Final 90 seconds of proceedings here. 59 goals to 43. It's a big win here for GWS, which will put them far and away on top with their 7th win of the season. And depending how the UTS Sparks go in their game against the Central Coast Heart, could potentially be a 4-point buffer at the top for the GWS Fury. Perkins off balance. Almost got a bit of a miracle goal there as it bounced away off the rim, but the rebound picked up by Woods, who scores. So probably not going to break that goal-scoring record, or perhaps they might. They've still got 40 seconds to go. They scored 61 goals last week against the UTS Sparks. And they've got 60 at the moment. Just haven't been able to fight as much as they would have liked in this final quarter, have they, the Sapphires? 61 goals to 43. One more chance to score. And probably be the final plays of the game. Flood. I'd be happy just retaining possession. Goes forward to Woods. Knocked away from her possession and then slapped down the court. And Woods will have one last opportunity before time expires. And she scores. So a new high score for 2019 for the Fury. And a big win as well. A 19-point drubbing of the Sapphires. It was 42 goals to 36 heading into the final quarter. But the Fury, they ran riot, winning by 20 goals to 7. Or outscoring the Sapphires 20 goals to 7 in that final quarter for a 62 goals to 43 win. That means now after 7 games, the GWS Fury are 7-0, a phenomenal start to the season. in their game. In the other games that are going on, we can see that the Sparks are up 54 goals to 40, or have beaten the Heat by 54 goals. The Hearts by 54 goals to 50. The Panthers 41 goals lead the Stingrays 36 with 15 seconds to go. So the Panthers are going to get back-to-back wins in the under-23s competition, and the Hawks have beaten North Shore United by 49 goals to 42. But here, a dominant performance in every quarter by the Fury. They win by 62 goals to 43. Their 7th win on the trot. They are top of the competition ladder in the under-23s. They are on 14 points, while the win by the UTS Sparks mean they are outright second, and Manly, for the time being, stay in 3rd position as they drop their 2nd consecutive game of the season. We'll still got plenty of action left here tonight at the GWS Netball Centre, with all the pitches being brought to you by the guys at Bar TV Sports. It's a big opens game that's coming up between the 5th place Sapphires and the 6th place the 5th place Sapphires and the 6th place Fury. They'll be taking place at 8:40 p.m. So please do stick around and join us in about 20 minutes' time for what should be a tantalising opens game. And we'll see you in about 15 minutes.